the way the media is reporting this, if you were just a casual listener, you would think that everyone on this list has been credibly charged with like pedophilia or going to Epstein's Island. I'm saying if
Right.
you're just like
Or
going
being
about your life and you're just catching a little bit of this off, it is malpractice by our media.
Hello, welcome back to the FBILIES podcast, formerly known as the Friends of Zeus podcast. This is episode number 148. Tonight it's my turn to steer the ship. I brought in some new guests. Maybe some other ones will be popping in. Some of our hosts will be popping in, but apparently they just forgot. But this is my sister, Candy. She's been on in past episodes.
Oh yeah. Wasn't that like the Bitcoin or something
Yes.
you were on? But you were on since then too, I think.
Yeah, she's been on like 3 times.
Yeah.
something football. I don't know
Oh,
anything
that
about
I think I missed that one. I may have missed that with football.
And
hockey.
this is my niece.
Hi.
Her name is,
Hello.
what do you go by now?
Finn.
Tom?
Finn.
Finn.
There's a hyphen in her name.
There's a hyphen in her name, so
Finn.
my uncle
Finn.
nicknamed her Finn because sure.
That's good.
Anyway, so tonight, and we're gonna be walking through a minefield with this because I do have like some comments that I want to make about it. But recently, tonight we're gonna talk about the Epstein files that recently got released and kind of go over the list of people on it and what we think is going on here. We're not going let's just get it out of the way right now. We're not trying to implicate any of these people in sexual activity. However, we may have a few jokes about if it were the case, but the point being is that this is a list of people that were in the files for court documents. I think there was like a what do you call it? Like
Their names were mentioned.
but like it was like a lawsuit against Epstein, and these names were mentioned, so now they're part of the files. So like
Public record. Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that they were even on the island or that these are flight records. There have been some people that were implicated already, like flying like 30 times on the plane, but that hasn't been divulged to the public yet. But it is certainly an interesting list, and as I'm looking at it, I almost feel like that the placement of names on the list are a little like they're trying to be salacious, like how it's presented is
No.
to give us
Really?
Oh no, I mean like some of them like
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is salacious.
But I mean, I also think I also wouldn't be surprised if some of the people on this list were straight up shady. Like
Maybe.
for instance, David Copperfield's always been a little squirrely.
Yeah, he makes things disappear.
Yeah. What's he making disappear in somebody?
Man.
But like the top 5 we've heard over and over and over, and I will leave Ghislaine out of it because obviously she was involved. That one we can pretty much, we can say whatever we want to about her. Prince Andrew, they've been pretty clear that he's on the list.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, Donald Trump was actually, I was reading, was only mentioned. Did you ever see him on there? So that's why he's in these files.
No, he flew on the plane.
No, he didn't. There's no flight logs. There's no flight logs yet. No flight logs have been released. He's never been on the island.
They
Hey,
were
he's never
friends
been
for 20 years.
No, I don't say anything that
Okay.
you don't have 100% facts behind you, because
I
then
know.
we can't post it, and then we get
Okay.
canceled on YouTube.
But it happens
I
all
mean-
the time, Candy. So just let her roll.
He was
Yeah.
mentioned in the. Don't look.
It
for
may
some
help us actually.
late
No, I
earlier.
did look. I
But
not
he was not. He was never. He was never on the plane. He was just mentioned, and that's how he gets into the court documents. They could have said my name, and suddenly, you know, maybe we get a better viewing. But but Bill Clinton, you know what? Love the guy, but I kind of buy it. Hillary Clinton, she's always 10 feet behind him. John Connolly, this one's an interesting one, but this makes sense. Not that he's a bad guy. He investigated Epstein, so that's why he would be in these files. Alan Dershowitz, I've never been a huge Dershowitz guy, so maybe, but I don't know. DiCaprio, that's where it starts to get this, like, let's throw a few names in there that people will.
DiCaprio dates younger women right out in the open.
Yeah.
Right, but no, but I'm saying
dates
that,
children
no,
already.
I'm not saying, I'm not implicating him. What I'm saying is that that's where I feel like it's actually the most salacious, when they throw these people in that you never would have thought would have been on there, but their name is so high profile that you look at the list more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's some psychological chicanery going on there. And I think one of the other down the list of Kevin Spacey, I totally believe he was probably fucking flying the plane. But that being the case, these are only names that are in a court document. Another one that was weird for me was Cameron Diaz. Like, I don't get that. It's a very interesting list. Did you happen to look at the list and see any of the names that were?
Yeah, well, a couple things. One, I mean, again, I'm definitely not 100% not an expert on this entire story, but I do follow news, so I know some about it. But the thing I found frustrating was, like, where's the list, man? Like, it took me forever just to find the actual documents. Now, my Google foo is not as good as it used to be, but my whole thing is, like, if you Google this story, there's a million stories telling you what to think about it. There's very few stories that just show you the documents so that you can look through it.
Their documents are online.
They are online. Yep. That's because I try to go to the source documents whenever humanly possible, just to not get caught up in all the other stuff. But the thing that it sound like a broken record, but can we figure the story out? Like, what in the hell is going on? Like, how many reporters, journalists, TV stations, everyone's got an iPhone. Can we get to the bottom of this once and for all? I feel like I'm getting jerked around.
Absolutely,
Like,
probably design.
I feel like it's a tease. I don't even know it's been like 4 years, and then I gotta like see these newspapers and these reporters be like, I'm a journalist, let's talk. And like, you guys aren't even. All they do is publish what other people say. There's like no one seems to be investigating this. So to me, I'm just disappointed because there's no there. It's like, oh, we're going to release this list. Like, I was thinking it was a list of people who have been creditably accused, but this is just this is like if you had a dinner party, this is like the list of everyone that came to the party.
Right.
It doesn't mean they were doing anything.
Like Cameron Diaz, from what I've heard, the Cameron Diaz Association there is because in court,
She claims she's never met him.
no, in court, Epstein, he was name dropping celebrities to someone. So he mentioned and said, oh, I know Cameron Diaz, and I know, I whatever other names, I don't, Christian Slater or something,
Yeah.
And that's why her name is on there. So it's absolutely throwing a bunch of names in there just to, it's getting people riled up. It's kind of like when you look at the perspective of people are going to start cherry picking too, right? So they're going to say, like if they're a Democrat, they're saying, okay, it's Trump, it's this person, right? And then totally excusing the other side and vice versa. They're going, oh, look, Bill, totally a perv. We know it was Bill Clinton, but then totally ignoring that. And Trump was friends with Epstein for 20 years.
I don't know.
I
Stop
do,
making
too.
claims
In
without
1990,
proof.
I have proof. In 1992, you
But
could
you
say
can't
that
make that claim. This is a list of people that were in court
There's
documents. It's not it's not
and
public.
I'm telling you
Wait,
that
hold
they
on.
were
Let me just say
friends.
it's not public record.
Okay.
It's not in any definitive document that says Trump and he were friends, because Trump dropped his ass from Mar-a-Lago.
After the charges were made. But in 2002,
But
he
you-
said he was a good guy and they've been friends for 15 years. So they absolutely were friends. But that's not, you didn't let
You're
me
gonna edit
finish.
this, right?
You didn't let me finish my point. My point is Jeffrey Epstein was a financier, right? He was a big deal at the time. So all the wealthy people knew him. They were all like connected to him in some way. So just because if you're a wealthy person, you run on those circles, it doesn't mean that you diddle kids.
Of course.
You know, like it's like
And-
saying your accountant comes out
And even
as
if it's,
a, you know, they were all affiliated with money, and Epstein was known to like let them all like, you know, because they're all so intertwined, all these wealthy
and
people.
also, if
So it
this
doesn't matter
was
one thing or
if
another.
this was a flight list, it doesn't mean that all of them were going there to.
It wasn't a flight list.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if this was a flight list, if this was a list of people that were definitively on this island, it doesn't mean that they were going there to have sex with children.
It's
They could-
still, yeah, I mean, it's highly sus, right? As all the kids say these days. It's very sus. But the thing is, it just pisses me off because I'm like, can we get some freaking PIs on this? Can we just get a dude sitting like somewhere in a bar over like listening to what people are saying and report something? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I was one of these people, it's got to be frustrating. So it is this
One of the
yeah,
victims.
inferred slander. No, I'm talking about the people on
How
this
about,
list.
let's
It's assumed the way the media is reporting this, if you were just a casual listener, you would think that everyone on this list has been credibly charged with like pedophilia or going to Epstein's Island. I'm saying if you're just like
Or being-
going about your life and you're just catching a little bit of this off, it is malpractice by our media.
But don't
It
you
is
think
malpractice.
it's possible because the people on that list are all so well connected and all so wealthy
Yeah.
that we're never gonna get the real
But-
truth. They're just drip feeding all these little nothings to get people riled up. So that,
Possibly.
you know, and then what? What's the end result here?
I-
I mean, what does it accomplish? It gets people riled up and we go into an election year and
Well,
that's what it does.
But here's why it's frustrating to me personally. It's frustrating because I just want to be like, bugger this. This is just a salacious tabloidy story. There's no serious reporters on it. They're just dripping stuff out. Like, I don't even know how to feel about it. Like, it's just icky. Like, the whole thing is just icky.
gross.
Like, can you just give me some facts? But on
Right.
the other hand, I can't because it's all powerful people, because there is, in my opinion, a concerted effort to slow walk the unraveling of this complete onion. And the fact that the guy, in my opinion, was murdered, just
Very likely.
just my private.
We're never gonna get the real list because
They probably
it's the
bribed
same
people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, I got my Orphan Annie decoder pin in the mail, so I am
Well, like,
authorized to do investigations. But I'm just saying,
On
the whole thing is a disaster.
is ready
Yeah.
to go too. Like, is she gonna just commit suicide as well?
I
Like,
don't-
she knows where the bodies are buried.
It's
yeah, but so
Okay.
did he. Like, so what does she have
Yeah,
to
but
keep her alive
but
that he doesn't?
have you ever heard the
He
saying 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead? Well, 2 people can keep a secret if 1 of them's dead.
but
They didn't need him because she was ready to sell out.
but the thing is, it's like where that whole thing, like where there's smoke, there's fire and all that. And there's enough there. It's like with stereotypes. There's a kernel of truth to make it. That's why it survives. Well, this story, like, I don't know anything about Epstein. I just know what I've been told, right? And they paint this picture. But people who talk about him, like other people that are, knew him, whether it be Clinton, whether it be Trump, whether it be Dershowitz, who else have they interviewed? Louis Freeh, like some of these other people that I at least have some, like, I don't think they're just bald-faced lying on this. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, because it's just too much. It's too big. It's too crazy. But
Right.
the
Here's
fact that
the
they can't even get us to a point where any of this is believable. So it's just a conundrum. It just pisses me off. The whole thing
Well,
pisses me off.
Right.
It's like malpractice.
Here's what I will say that you kind of have to acknowledge is if we're talking politically, they're damning on both sides.
Yep.
Which
You can't, but we can't just let it go either.
The part that does give credibility to it for me. They're going after Trump, going after Prince Andrew, they're going after Clinton. They're not. I think they went after RFK Jr. I love what he did. He was like, go ahead. He was like, he was talking about it before. He was like, open list. He wants everybody.
See that shows more innocence, I think. If somebody's like, let it all race, yeah. If his name is on it and they're like, I have nothing to hide.
I know people aren't a big RFK Jr. fans, but there's nothing that guy's been doing that I don't like.
Look, this guy, his business, he was like a hedge fund guy. That's where he made his bones. But his business is what is the center of the story, and the thing that no one really has been super well versed at articulating. But it seems like what he did was he used his connections in his financial successes. Again, he was connected, like Andy was saying. I mean, he ran in these circles, and at a certain level of fame and power, it's a little different now in the era we're in right now. But once you get there, they don't talk about politics. It's a whole different planet. They're not sitting there talking about taxes. Those people, they have their own thing, and you can have a Republican or a Democrat.
God, man, do you have any great fun?
Right. And they get along, they make deals. They're not in the trenches like we are, or anything like that. So they're all palsy walsy. But the thing is, it's like I just believe I think there is a there. This guy would basically get into these circles. What seems to be going on is he was soft shoeing, like being like, oh, by the way, if you like these pretty girls, come to my island, or he'd have them come to the island to do something else and be like, oh, do you want a massage? Like, he was just trying to get them in a compromising position, so he would flip them to get to someone else that was more influential.
I'll go one step even further and even more insidious is he was going for, and this would actually clear a lot of these people, he was going for more of a guilt by proximity.
Yeah, anything he could do.
You could have gone to the island, spent the day on the beach, had a few beers, never even touched yourself.
Right.
And fucking because you're on the island.
And now and then he has you in a compromising situation, and then he's got you.
Well, it was like the thing, I think Al Gore and Tipper Gore were either at some event or went to the island. I'm really not sure which, but the victims that were interviewed, like I was reading these original court documents, they were like, man, when Al Gore came, he was never more than 2 feet away from Tipper. They had dinner together. Like he was like not.
They were like in love.
Yeah, he wasn't involved and that was the only time he wasn't invited back because say what you want about Al Gore, he loves his wife, and Epstein wasn't going to flip him. So, he didn't play that game. And other people said too, this one guy who was I can't remember if it was Louis Free. I read up on some of these guys who I recognize their names, and his report was like, yeah, this guy was really freaking annoying. He kept wanting to meet this other guy. Like he was like, Epstein was trying to use me for my connections to meet this other guy, and he was being a real dick about it. And so this was like 10 years ago. So it's like this, people knew about this.
And that's one of the little secrets that most people don't seem to realize. I know I have a friend, and I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say, but, and I'll try and leave this as vague as
Phil
possible.
Thompson.
No, there you go. So these groups, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to.
use
Okay,
random names. Yeah.
So these groups say the Catholic, well, we're gonna make up stuff, okay? Say the Catholic Church hires this person, and this person's job is to have parties at their home because they are attached to political parties, and they have parties where they invite members of the church and their political party, so it's a more fluid environment.
So they
and
can rub
interact.
elbows.
It's so they can rub elbows. And there's actual jobs like that. And then
Oh,
on
yeah.
installations, and then there's jobs where, and like with Epstein, and absolutely, he's always trying to it's always about networking with one another, right? Because it's all about money and making more of it. They're like dragons, right? Just hoard as much gold as possible,
And power.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
and
why.
power.
That's why I was leaning. I mean, I kind of generalized it, but when I'm saying guilt by proximity, I think that was actually Epstein's play. Yeah, the sex was going on and all that, but he could just bring anybody. Just come to my island. Just be on my island. That's all he cared about, because once you're on the island,
You got the stink.
you got the stink on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And actually, I think I read with Robert F. Kennedy. This really pisses me off, because this is what you have a little definition next to Robert F. Kennedy. And again, I know he's not your favorite guy, but I think you think he's got integrity. He's described as American politician and conspiracy theorist.
I know. I saw that. That's why I don't like reading I read that, and that's why I went to the source material.
Robert F. Kennedy was on the Rogan show, and he's talking about how his dad died, and that he looked at the autopsies. So whatever he's saying, he believes. That doesn't make it a conspiracy.
Believing that
he believes that his father.
Him a conspiracy theorist because he believes his father was murdered. Yes,
but not by Sirhan Sirhan. It was Sirhan Sirhan.
Doesn't everybody believe that?
No, everybody thinks it was Sirhan Sirhan. Robert F. Kennedy, if what he's saying is true, which the guy has nothing but integrity as far as I can tell. He's talking about how Kennedy was shot from the back, which Sirhan Sirhan was in front of him. And so, there's if the autopsy was available, you could look at it, it would be easily proved. Anyway, to call him a conspiracy theorist is nonsense.
It's one of the the rhetoric and how things are said is important. So, my name's Michael. I am definitely on occasion a conspiracy theorist. I love talking about old conspiracies, new conspiracies, whatever. But if I was
choreography over conspiracy,
I gotcha. But if someone was introducing me at nothing special, just at a friend's party, they would be like, "Oh, here's Michael, conspiracy theorist." They would be like, "Oh, here's Michael. He's a dad. He does this for a living, and he likes to talk about conspiracies." The fact that they someone like Robert F. Kennedy, whatever you think about Robert F. Kennedy, he has earned the right to not have conspiracy theorist as a qualifier right after his name. He's also the nephew of one of our most famous presidents. He's the son of Robert. His family is storied in our country's history.
Speaker of the House. Yeah, he's ingrained.
What I'm saying is, it is a rhetorical swipe at him, and it's so blatant. It's lazy.
It's not that kind of the problem too with the media is they adding those. That's adding. I don't know. I just wish the way you could just simple facts. To stop putting that's an opinion, a conspiracy. Okay. You're calling him a conspiracy theorist, but that is an opinion. Is the guy now? You could call him a conspiracy theorist if he's constantly talking about UFOs and Bigfoot and Loch Ness monster. Okay,
let's use the word conspiracy theories for cryptids and fucking aliens. Let's not.
I love conspiracy
everything else
theories.
Everything else. Well, no, but we talk on the show a lot, and it's it's going to be my claim to fame one day is that I don't believe that there are conspiracies. I believe that there's choreography. That a black man is going to have a white man with his knee on his chest, and the guy's going to die because he couldn't breathe. That's going to happen.
Well, let's call the police.
So, no. But here's my point.
Oh, sorry. I thought you knew what's going to happen. So I'm like, where? What are we all sitting around here for?
talking about George Floyd and Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
I got you.
But my point is you know that is going to happen, but you also know that an Asian man is going to kill an Aboriginal at some point in time, right? Because these are all possibilities. So you prepare for them. So my thing is that all this stuff is prepared for, and it's just a matter of the right cogs clicking, and then you put the story together. So, like, yeah, of course, the George Floyd thing was horrible. Nobody deserved to die. Chauvin probably still deserves to be in jail. But the point is that you knew that was going to happen. They, you know, us versus them, that kind of thing. They knew this was going to happen, so they prepare for it ahead of time. So when these certain things click, we've got a story for it, and we can use it to manipulate how much toilet paper we sell, or how much masks.
Almost all conspiracy theories, I believe, have some, most at least.
Oh, really?
Some,
Flat Earth, really?
That's not a
Really?
conspiracy, though.
There's a lot of validity to that.
That's just dumb.
Stupid.
But it's a conspiracy
A lot.
theory.
So I think there. All right, let me rephrase it then. A lot of conspiracy theories, or some, or have some grain of truth in there.
Hollow Earth. That
Something.
one, is that one a good one too?
That's you're picking and choosing. You know
Hollow Moon.
what I'm saying? Like, and
Really,
there's
cover
like
for
a
me.
healthy, there's
Here
a
it
healthy distrust
Okay.
in our a healthy distrust in our on what we're actually being told. So the whole like drip feeding stuff with Epstein and everybody saying, you know, like I think it's kind of obvious the guy didn't kill himself, but there's just no way. But it's preposterous to think that this man who has all this, you know, dirt on all these wealthy people just happened to just make it easy for them and knock himself off.
Right. Like when the time came for him to cash in and cash in his chips and evade any sort of consequence, he decides, I'm going to kill myself now.
Obviously, he just didn't prepare properly. Upon my death, XYZ gets released kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or they were able to get rid of that before he could. So, and we're never really going to know all the truth with this, because it's just
no one is digging. I mean, the fact is, look,
I read that too. Like somebody made a good point. They said, I'd like to see, like, is there like a massive investigation going on here? Like, what investigation? Because weren't there like FBI people on there too? Like, so what are we gonna see here that actually results in some criminal charges going up? Because there's no way that Epstein did all this by himself. This is a network of people,
right,
that were doing this. He had people who were recruiting girls. He had people who were digging up dirt. He had, you know, probably like PIs on his side doing these things. So where are all these people? Where do we start getting the truth and down to that?
And where are the young journalists that are going to make their bones on crack in this case? I mean, and are these stories being brought to editors, and the editors are like, nah, I want you to go cover the Easter parade this weekend instead? Like, is that happening? Or is it just sort of spoken like, yeah, it's probably not good for your career if you start like poking around here, because there's too many people.
Do this anymore? Like,
I'm sorry?
Do we still have hardcore investigative journalists?
Very few. They are out there.
That's fun, honestly.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous job.
It's a dangerous job. I mean, they are out there. I mean, I'm talking about like independent, a lot on Substack, you know, people that like self-publish, things like that.
Right.
And the proof's in the pudding, because people are like, oh, they can just write whatever. I'm like, no, you take someone like Glenn Greenwald or Matt Taibbi, or like who's I mean, there's plenty. I don't have to agree with a good journalist to like them, but they have a record. You can go back like 15 years where they say something and everyone's like, you're crazy. And then it comes out, they were actually correct. And that's what makes a good journalist. That's why I like those guys, because I'm like, well, at least I know that they they have integrity and they're telling me what they believe is the truth. Like, I at least believe that, you know, I don't think they're trying to screw me over. But the other thing about this story that to me I find very disturbing, and have for years, is all like, what in the hell's going on where we have all these people that are like, and again, I am definitely more of a fan of Trump than Candy. I know Candy likes him like this much, and I probably like him like maybe that much. So we're very close. But
I
the
like
thing
the
is,
vagina. The only thing I like about it is the vagina on his neck. And
I know that's amazing. It's art. It's really an amazing.
quite impressive.
It's quite impressive. But my thing is, all these people that are on this that have been interviewed, mostly all guys, but some women, Trump included, and
Right.
and Zeus is right. It's like, oh, I kicked him out of the thing, and da 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 da.
Right.
Well, there's all these people saying, well, no, we knew Jeffrey was into little girls, and we knew about this or that. Okay, so
Right.
where were you guys? Like all these people knew. It's sort of like the Harvey
Listen.
Weinstein thing all over again. It's like,
Right.
what do you mean everybody knew? Like that's even
Thank
more
you.
disturbing.
There's a girl who said that the Guffrey, she was a victim, yes, Guffrey.
Yeah, Guffrey.
Said that in Epstein's home in Florida or Palm Beach, anyways, his home in Florida, that there was so much, it was so obvious what was going on. Anybody who ever went to his home or spent any real time with him, it wasn't hard for them to become aware of what was really happening.
Right.
And I would also like to say that anybody who is, 100 million plus or has any ounce of power has assistants that research somebody and does not allow them to be around somebody who is a pederast. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Like you
And
say,
that is where-
hey, there's allegations here, maybe don't do that.
And that is where I'm actually on I don't think that Trump was involved in this stuff. But my point to that is he does have to own the fact that he had some shitty intel on the guy that he was hanging with.
Yeah, it would be
Whether
weird
it's
for
20
Trump to like
years
young
or
girls,
20
right?
weeks,
It
doesn't
would
matter.
it would be what?
It would be weird for Trump to like beautiful young women.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
That's
I
his
do.
out of character.
He likes beautiful porn star women.
yeah, I mean, my point is though, it doesn't seem to match up, and it's all opinion. And the thing is, Candy, because we don't know,
There's no proof.
that this is all we can do is just
Right, debate about
and the
it.
thing is, and to me, like I think what you're saying to me is like, okay, that's kind of, she's being sarcastic, she's being silly, but I know you mean it heartfelt. What I'm saying, I mean heartfelt, and it's
Right.
sad that we can't get to the bottom of it. That's the part that I just find unacceptable. Unacceptable. I don't accept
Are
that.
willing to acknowledge that he did know him. And I think a lot of people, and this is kind of in lies the problem now, is that people say, if you're on Team Trump, a lot of them, or Team Bill Clinton or whoever, you put your blinders on and they just automatically disregard any kind of proof. And for one, I really hope we never get the kind of proof that would sway people, like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's just terrible.
Yeah.
But at what point at some people, they refuse to see any proof for what it is. Do you know what I mean? They just keep going, well, no, but it's not this. It's like the missing link thing, right? You could keep showing people different evolutions of a monkey, or how we went from man to, ape to man. And you keep showing it to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but what about the link in between here?" And then and then they dig that one up, and they say, "Yeah, but what about the link here?" And they keep digging them up, and
Right.
and it's never enough.
But here's
So-
you know what? Here's where
But
the
at
world.
least some people are rational enough to go, "Okay, you know what? That's enough.
Well,
I've
and we're
seen
not
enough."
yelling at each other,
About
this. That's the nice thing. That's what I love about our show is we maintain polite discourse, even if we disagree. I disagree all the time on the show, or I have a different spin that doesn't necessarily match up with how the rest of the guys think. But here's the fucked up thing about this. Let's say Bill Clinton was on the island. This is all hypothetical, but he's one of the big names and it should stand out. And let's say that somebody has a video of him having sex with an of age girl. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna go, wow, Bill's really packing, and it's going to be all about how big or little Bill's penis was, and they're not going to be, you know what I mean? That's where the story's going to go. It's to
I
this
mean, it
weird-
could. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe. I wouldn't.
Also cause legal trouble because that counts under child porn.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
you won't see it.
wait, are you getting at the
what I'm saying is,
what
the way the world is, they're not gonna focus on the fact that clearly a person was having sex with someone. They're gonna focus on
Nope.
package or how he was acting, if he smacked her on it. They're gonna go.
But are
this
you saying
weird
that's
way
based on a party affiliation? Like
No,
just because
no,
it
it's
was
just
seen
based
in
on
general?
how-
Okay.
No, our culture. Yeah, our culture would probably do that.
gonna
But the-
lean whatever's the most
I understand.
salacious thing about it.
Right.
It's not gonna be the fact that person A was having sex with, and like I said, it could be an of age girl, but they're not gonna be focused on that. They're gonna be
Right, they're
focused
gonna
on
be on the nasty of
something
it.
that makes
yes.
it a different. Yeah, they're gonna go for the
Here-
growth.
Here's the other thing, and just to like what Candy was saying earlier, as far as like, people being able to acknowledge like what we know and what we don't know. Another thing that annoys me about this story, and I'm saying above and beyond the fact that this is horrible crime going on. I mean, obviously that,
Right.
but like with the very, like when I, like at the beginning of the show, and I think in the text thread, Tom said something about like, this is fake news. They're just using this to try to get Trump because, he was mentioned, even though he was mentioned as someone that wasn't involved with it. And I'm
Right.
like, you know what disgusts me? It's like we're so the rhetorical like disaster that we are in now. Like when I heard this, I was like, whatever, man. Like I'm like, what's next? I mean, I'm like, we got the PP tape, we got this, we got that. He's the worst person in the world. Now I'm like, and so the danger in that is when you have people, and I've said this before, this is why the media being horrible isn't just bad for the people they're being horrible to. It's horrible for us as a society because we can't, like someone like me, I hear any story these days, I do not believe it
No, I research
at all. Like I have to stick my hand into Jesus's side, like to believe a
Yeah.
story. Like I have to see I have
Right.
to research it myself.
Yeah.
That's horrible. You know why? Because that's
Yeah, it
not,
is.
I have a job to do. Like I have a family to raise. I don't need, like, I would really appreciate trusting somebody.
facts too.
Yes.
Here's my big
The
question.
spins on it and the facts are
Here's
Yeah.
here's the big question. Why isn't R. Kelly on this list?
yeah.
And it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is confusing.
I want to piss
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Poo-poo.
Yeah, oh man. No, but
I don't know anything about that either, but
there may be
R.
more
Kelly.
to this. There may be
Mhm.
more insidious machinations to this list because it is a very interesting selection of people on this list. Assuming
But it's a meaningless list. It's like a list of people that like walk down Main Street in Philadelphia on Tuesday at 3 p.m. It's like the list is BS. The list doesn't tell us anything at all,
Right.
in my opinion.
But it's the real problem. It's going to be drip fed because as if it's drip fed little bits at a time, people get outraged and they make this big stink about it. And every news cycle is, just regurgitating the same nonsense over and over again. People get desensitized to it and then they move on when actual real stuff comes out
Yeah.
because then they're going, oh, it's fake news,
I was
right?
thinking desensitized.
Well,
Right.
more importantly,
The
I
fake-
think what's going to happen is like 2 or 3 years from now, because this isn't going to stop now. This is big news. They can make this last for a while. I think we're
money.
going to get a Mandela effect kind of thing. Like one name is going to be removed from the list, one name's going to be added to the list.
Oh, like little, so it's all like muddied, and then
No,
they can
because
fake
no,
news
it's
it
like
to-
there.
to
So
that.
there's a story about this lady that she swore that the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia. That
I
at
always
one
thought
point or
that
another,
too.
but there is. But she was like, "You guys are treating me like I'm crazy." There was one with a cornucopia, and finally she went through like all her old clothes and she found one with a cornucopia. But they were saying, "No, you're crazy. We never had that." And even Fruit of the Loom had this like from chronology, all their different things, and they never showed one with the cornucopia. And she clearly shows this like Fruit of the Loom shirt with a cornucopia. I know it's not insidious or anything, but the Mandela effect thing, I'm starting to buy into it a little.
Right,
That frightens me.
course.
Berenstein. Which do you remember? Bernstein Bear?
I Berenstein. I always call it Berenstein.
Berenstein, right? Because when you're a kid, you're learning how to spell and you say the name, the Berenstein. It's not Berenstein, it's Berenstain. S-T-A-I.
Berenstain.
And that one killed me because I remember you're learning how to read as a kid and you're the Bernstein Bears.
That's why hoarders are going to save the world. They're going to have this in their house under a pile of newspapers.
Well, that's the thing that I mean, and if you want to get into conspiracy theories, some of the cooler ones about the Mandela effect are that it's some kind of weird as the timeline splits, right? Like somebody changed
string theory
something.
shit?
Or somebody went back in time and they changed something and that's just a weird after effect, like
Yeah,
deja.
like an echo.
Yes,
Yeah.
like it's just a remnant. Like some of us remember that, but it never was because somebody changed something. So
Sort of like the 2020 election. Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
so silly, man.
No,
I'm
but-
sorry.
And let's not divert because we talk conspiracies. You're gonna get conspiracy talking to this. Let's not get to that.
Why
Let's,
this is a conspiracy?
yeah, but more.
is.
But here's what I want to get to as far as conspiracy. I think that this list, they're gonna slow roll out new names, but at some point we are gonna see something that completely indicts somebody, and it's probably gonna be somebody. It's probably gonna. If I were to guess, I'd say it's like your Prince Andrew or something. I know that a couple people have said that they have video, but why the fuck isn't that out yet? Because they control it. They can leak it out as quickly as they want. I'm sure there's a video of somebody. This guy was clearly trying to blackmail guests at his island.
I just thought of something, and I'm sorry, I don't remember if it was
Fine.
Finn that said this or Candy that said this.
Like from here.
Or alluded to it, but okay, let's think about this for a second. If what we're saying, if you believe the premise that Epstein was connected, that his business was influence or whatever, that he was either bribing people or preparing to bribe people or what have you, and gathering intel, and that there's all these people that just want that story to go away, and then they make this big hype about this list. And I'm telling you, a year ago, what I thought when they were talking about this list coming out, because I think it was like December of 22 is when the judge was like, we're gonna have to release this. I don't know when it was a while ago.
Right.
I was like, okay, it's gonna be a list, and it's gonna be like this guy, Zeus Allen was at the island, and this he met with Heidi or whatever. I thought that's what it was going to be,
right?
And it's completely not that. So I wonder. And now we're sitting there saying like, this is all muddy. Like, do you think this is being done to muddy the water? Like, in other words, like, let's just release this very nebulous gray area document that has like people on it that aren't even guilty, like doctors and people that weren't even involved. They're just part of a question, so that everyone's like, a month from now, people are like, that Epstein list, we'll never know. We'll just never know.
McCarthy, it's like a small rich people version of the McCarthy, everything, like everybody's
the Red Scare.
The Red Scare stuff, right?
Communist.
Oh, you're a pedo, just because your name is there. And there's absolutely Epstein probably had tons of proof.
How about this? How about the crafting of this list is to muddy the water so that we're desensitized to it and we just become indifferent and don't care. Yep. And then later on, they come up with a few people and are like, oh, that's so.
They just put that guy on the list because they're trying to get him, or they're just trying
the water. Okay, they muddy it up. And they make it so
that we don't give a shit.
Yeah, so people don't care anymore. And then people suck because they'll get bored of the story and it'll be talked to death and debated to death. And nobody has any clear answers. And then they move on and call it all fake news.
Even us, the pieces of shit that we're talking about this, we've already forgotten about the fact that children were fucking raped.
Yeah.
Like we're talking.
No, that's the whole point. I mean, that's the whole sad, horrible thing. And like, it's all grist for the mill. you know, in
So-
the,
And you kind of, I think at a certain point, you gotta just, I mean, the best that we're gonna come up with is just as far as that, we're never gonna get any real proof, no definitive proof.
nobody wants to talk because nobody wants to be on the list, and they're including everyone. So if my name's Michael, right? If I had any information about this, now if I did, I would say something. But a reasonable person, I could understand why a reasonable person who did know something about this may be like, I think I'm just gonna whoop and
Lay
go
back
to-
here in the curtains.
I'm just gonna go away because it's what's the gain? Unless you have some moral compass where you're like, I just want to see justice done. You're just sticking your hand into a viper's nest, getting your name involved with this.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, like, so let's throw up Cameron Diaz. She's on this list of people. How mortifying is it? You know my history of work where I was accused of things that I was simply not in my nature. You know me, but people that don't know me had to investigate, blah, blah, and I was proven fair. But let's look at like a Cameron Diaz who she has a history in porn. She
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did a porn movie. So that's enough salacious history to throw her on there. But let's assume that she doesn't know him, that what she's saying is true. How mortifying would that be to be accused of that? You know, to be accused of, or
Participating
just
in
having
some
this
of those
list,
foul-
just
Yeah.
having this list out puts a stain on every single person that's on it, except for the people that immediately, and RFK, I think, is going to be one of the ones that gets clear of this. He was like, yeah, fucking bury everybody, give the whole list. I don't care if it's my son, my daughter, you know, like he's like, fuck that.
Well,
I
should
love
be-
that guy. You know, I
that
love
should be
him.
a uniting
kiss him on the
factor. That
mouth.
should be a uniting factor. That if they, it shouldn't be, people
Shouldn't be, but it is
cherry
going to
picking.
be.
People shouldn't be cherry picking one and ignoring the other. Like, I hate this person because they
Right.
don't align with my political beliefs, and then ignoring the fact that the others are on there. So it should be a uniting factor. We all think diddling kids is just wrong,
Do not
obviously, right?
Yes.
Like,
And I want
I-
all the info. I
I'm
want
gonna put it out there and say, do not
it's
have sex
awful.
with children.
Stop it.
Obviously.
Yes. So,
Not
and
gonna
then we
like
should all be united behind that and want the truth. But I think some people,
They're more caught up in
they're more in the political aspects of it.
the dirty nonsense. That,
They don't
they
want
don't
it-
care. It's all grist from it's a means to an end. I mean, the thing is, Candy, and you're political, I'm political, you know, whatever. That's fine. But we can be like, this thing here that we're talking about, it's more important. Well, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of people on all stripes, right? Where it's not more important. The political
Again-
thing is the most important, and they will use any situation to advance power, and it doesn't matter
And
what
again, yeah,
who gets hurt.
that's huge to me. That's one of the things that actually lends this list a little credibility, is that it's attacking all political spectrums.
Good.
It's attacking Stephen Hawking is on the list.
That we can do a whole episode on that. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
my point, I saw this video on like
Makes no
Instagram Reels or something, and it's like Stephen Hawking when he gets to Epstein Island, and it's that scene at the end of The Usual Suspects where Kevin Spacey is walking in, and he's kind of walk, and then it slowly straightens out. Pretty funny. I don't believe Stephen Hawking was a pederast, not at all, or even on the island.
But the thing is, Zeus, and I don't either, but it doesn't matter what we think. That's the whole point. It shouldn't even be a situation where we have to sit there and be like, I believe this about this guy, because we don't know these guys. I never met
The only person we know,
Stephen
100
Hawking. I mean, I know you. I can vouch for you. I mean, it's like I know Candy, but I don't know her well enough where I could be like, I mean, I know she's a good
Yeah, but
person, and all, but I don't know anything.
I would go to my
Yeah, I
grave
know.
defending you.
I don't know.
never do anything
Well,
like this.
I know, me to you, but I'm saying I don't know Stephen Hawking, and just because I think the guy's interesting, and I read his books,
Right.
and it makes me want to go easy on him because it's like, oh, he wouldn't do. I don't know if he would. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Makes
I
me
mean,
hope he was smart enough to not diddle kids.
yeah.
You would think so.
I don't think he has the fingers. The
He
fingers
has-
for it.
yeah.
He'd have to blow into a straw that
I
was
knew this was.
operated
I
robot.
knew this was going to be
There's no
health
silly-
episode, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're so close to the rail.
So that's but yeah,
Yeah,
they-
but that is the only thing that lends any credibility to this
See.
list is that it attacks on all fronts. I mean, Michael Jackson, who's not gonna believe that one? Kevin
I don't
Spacey.
know. But see,
I mean-
but I don't want to even go there, Zeus, because I resent. I feel like I'm being played. I feel like I'm being played. Like, I feel like I am approaching this question sincerely, and I feel like the media is just like taking a shit on my head. Like, that's what I feel like. Like, I'm trying to figure it out, and they're like, man.
right.
There is a guy on the list that I find very interesting to be on this list, and I find it more alarming because of all my talk lately about AI and how I'm fucking terrified of it. There is a guy that is an artificial intelligence pioneer. I'm not even gonna give his name because I don't want to get into all those implications, but that's frightening. You know, somebody that's in charge of what's probably going to turn Skynet into a real thing. That one alarms the hell out of me.
Mhm.
I mean, they got like George Lucas on the list, Kate Blanchett, Naomi Campbell, Bruce Willis.
Can we
Some
all
of them
just
I
say,
just don't buy.
not surprised that Keanu Reeves wasn't on there?
But this is only the first list,
But-
and this isn't an implicating list.
But
This is
one
just
thing- one
But-
thing that is that Epstein, he used to, I mean, this is way before anything, he used to just allow wealthy people to use his plane to travel back and forth.
again guilt
So-
by proximity.
But it's a ton of people that likely never even met him as well.
True.
You know, we're able, a friend of a friend kind of thing, we're able to use his plane.
Well, again, like Cameron Diaz, she came out about it, and she's like, "I've never met this
Right.
guy."
And I think the more concerning thing, in my opinion, is that the wealthy have this massive network of things going on, and that it has to be this big story, and it's this big conspiracy theory because we all know deep down that there's not going to be any
Well, I
repercussions
think
for their actions.
there's only 3 people that we know were involved in this. One of them was a victim, and that was the Dufresne or whatever her last name is. She was clearly a victim. It doesn't seem like she's lying. She's very open about everything. And then Ghislaine and I was going to call him Harvey Weinstein, but Jeffrey Epstein. Those are the only ones that we know were involved.
Right.
Everything else, short of video or eyewitness, and man, these days I don't even know about eyewitnesses. Like, everybody can be bought, but those are the only.
In either
3
way, they can
people
be
that we
bought in
know
both directions. So there's been people, there's
like
been
test-
plenty of times where people have accused certain individuals of certain things and regarding to Epstein, and they suddenly went away because these are all very famous and powerful people, and people who come forward with these accusations get death threats and fear for their lives genuinely. So what do you do with that?
I would be fearful for my life even being attached to this list as somebody that writes about it, that anything, because I mean, 2 of the people on this list have a list of about 300 people that were connected to them that mysteriously died or disappeared. And I think we know who I'm talking about.
Stephen
yeah.
Hawking.
No. I mean, I think it's out there. I don't think that the list is real, but it does get a little compelling when you look at this list of people that Hillary and Bill knew that are all dead. It's
No, I mean, but again, it's kind of a, and I know that list that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Bill and Hillary Clinton, they know
Everybody. Yeah, I know.
many more people than almost anyone you've ever met in your life. And, probably a lot of people die every day in the world.
Yeah, no,
So
and
I'm just saying it's my whole thing
they
is
shared a bathroom. Yeah.
show me the money. Like, and it's all that stuff with Clinton. It's like, can we just prove stuff anymore? Like,
No, we don't need to. We can speculate.
we just get stuck in this mode and nothing happens.
I hope that this breaks. I hope that this blows up and big people that have been taking advantage of little people really get the fucking shaft.
The problem is the press is not rattling the cages on the powerful for small things, right?
Mhm.
They're letting people get away with blatant lies about things that are practically meaningless. So there is not going to be a big dam break on this story. I don't think, Zeus. That's my opinion. They don't want it to be. They've shelved it for this long, and then all these people are like, I can't wait for the list, and the list comes out, and it's like it's completely not as advertised. It's just if your name would be in it, if someone said, "Hey, have you ever met Zeus Al?" and they're like, "No, I haven't." Well, your name would be in the list then. I mean, that's how crazy this is.
Yeah,
The list that they released.
Yeah, it's alarming, and you're probably right. It's probably never going to break in the way that we would like to see it break, where it's like, I mean, whatever happened has already happened. So to say that I need to see what happened, I'm not wishing that it happened. We know it happened. What I'm saying is that evidence kills all, you know?
Well, here's the other thing that's alarming to me that I think people forget. So again, not an expert on this, but from what I've read, it's pretty clear that people who are pedophiles don't retire. They don't. It's not like they're a pedophile and then they're like, yeah, I'm done being a pedophile. I'm gonna go open up a tea store. So generally, so my whole thing is a lot of this that's being reported is stuff that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. The fact that it's not getting solved for real means that there's a lot of people out there still doing this because they didn't stop, which means there's victims today. There are young people today that are being victimized by people that are involved in this story that are skating. And so when people are like, oh, I'm tired of the story, let's move on to something else, I'm like, this is still going on.
Never stop because and there needs to be harsher repercussions, and it shouldn't matter how powerful you are or how connected you are. There needs to be some real repercussions for these actions.
You touch a kid, 2 in the back of your head in the city square. I don't give a shit.
I think chemical castration for those people.
No. They don't get to live.
And jail time. But
they need to
live with
if somebody fucking hurt my kid, I would walk the earth to fucking bury them.
I agree.
Yeah.
No chemical castration. Fuck that. No. Murder them.
Well, that makes me think of something else. Like, what about all the innocent family members?
Fuck it. I'm gonna be generous with them.
But I'm just saying, what about all the victims' family members and stuff, and dads and sisters and brothers that are out there dealing with all this stuff? And then meanwhile, there's these idiots doing a podcast about it, like it's their weekly entertainment. And these people are living with this horrible situation all the time. I mean, I just, like I said, I point my finger. I mean, obviously, a lot of this is Epstein, and he's whatever. He's gone, apparently. But my whole thing is like, where's our press? I mean, all day I got to hear well, I'm a journalist and like the free press show, free speech, and like they're not. They're lapdogs. They do what they're told. They don't challenge authority. And this is another example of it.
Happen in the world right now is if every press organization building just blew up.
Dude, where's Mike Wallace when we need him? I'm not a folk singer or a musician, but I want to write a song like, Where have you gone, Mike Wallace? Like,
Or I was
where's
going
the
to
guy
say
knocking down people's doors and being like, "Sir," putting the microphone in people's faces, like, "Sir, where?" Da 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 da. Where's that? We don't ever see that.
I was like Dan Rather, Ted Koppel, those guys.
What about Kurt Loder?
You know
Kurt Loder, man. Yeah.
what? Okay.
MTV News. Yeah.
And Chevy Chase on Saturday Night Live. No, I mean, yeah, this list is interesting. And again, as we said before, and I'll reiterate it, this is a list of people that were involved in the court case. Their names may have been mentioned. Some may be a little more insidious, but we don't know any more than that they have been mentioned in relation to the court case. But it is an interesting selection of people that we list. And I would assume, and here's a question that I like to ask. This is like 200 people, but they probably got like 5,000. Why these ones first? Do you see what I'm saying? Why did they release Leonardo DiCaprio and Hillary Clinton? And
Didn't they already admit too that there's a lot of names that they did not? There was a lot of redacted names as well.
yeah, but were they redacted because they had legal
No,
defense that made it hard for them to?
There was somebody in Congress said, I don't know if I remember if it was a senator or whatever. He said that releasing it would cause too many problems that they can't release those names at this time. So I'm guessing there's a whole lot of senator and congressman names on there as well.
And we already look, here's Candy. We already know that. Like about, was it 10 years ago? Something like that, where the big story broke and then it was immediately squashed. I can't remember who reported this originally, but that there has been, over the decades, there has been millions of dollars spent by paying off people who were quote unquote possibly trying to bribe Congress people for certain peccadillos and relationships that they may have had, and that this was getting paid out of government funds. That was like this huge deal. And then they were like, well, let's keep that quiet. So there's a history of this. The other thing that this makes me think of, and there's someone else mentioned this. This isn't me. It was another podcast I was listening to, and someone said like, no, it was freaking Dave Chappelle on his new thing. He was talking about that crazy dude who was in the wheelchair, Madison Cawthorn, who's like, I don't know if you guys remember this guy. He was in a wheelchair. He was in House of Representatives for 2 years, but then he lost. And he
yes, I remember. Okay, I know.
He was a really young guy, like probably too young to be in Congress. And he said, he came out and he was like, man, they're always having sex parties in Congress and people are fucking each other and kids. And everyone's like, oh man, that Madison Cawthorn, he sure is crazy. We better get rid of him. And Chappelle was like, wait, was he trying to tell us something? It's like, there's all this other info coming out now.
Nobody invited him.
You know what?
There's sex parties.
Outside of Will Challen 2024,
yeah,
I would go with maybe Dave Chappelle and Jim Brewer. Dave Chappelle, I could actually get behind that guy in politics. He is
I don't want him to go into politics, man. He needs to do exactly what he's doing.
I like Jon Stewart. I think he's sweet.
I used to like Jon Stewart. Now I fucking hate him.
He's done a lot for vets and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He is. And he's willing to call out any politician for their bullshit.
He definitely leans in a direction though. The one thing
that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Is his commentary on the Wuhan. He's like, it's in the name of the fucking building.
But like, again, the story when that came out, then we're talking about when he was on Colbert, and and that was not that long ago, and he was talking about the fact that, you know, there's most of the evidence is pointing that it was a lab leak. And the thing that was interesting about that clip was watching Colbert like
trying to really
uncomfortable in his seat. Like he just was like, no, like he was trying to joke about it, but it's like, yeah, we can't talk about, you know, we don't talk about
I used to think
lab
Colbert
leak
was like a legit dude, and he is like so biased. Like it's really kind of sad. I'll give Jon Stewart
I-
some leeway.
I don't like lazy thinkers. And Stewart, although I don't
Stewart is
always
not.
agree with Stewart, he's not a lazy thinker. The guy's a smart dude. Like someone like Colbert, he's confusing to me because I know he's intelligent. I really did like his show up to, but now I'm just like, he just seems
bought in.
lazy to me. Like
Or
he
no,
seems like he's
worse
gotten
than that,
very
he didn't
lazy.
buy in. He sold out.
No,
He did.
all of the late night and all of everything has become so divided anymore. They're just so enraged with the other that they don't want to see.
Every once in a
What's
while, when
really
you lean back
happening.
to drink something, your head gets absorbed into the picture behind you, and it looks like a big halo. And I know you're no angel.
Oh yeah, it is like a halo. This kind of, yeah, maybe wow.
Oddly,
I like this look. Yeah. All right.
Well, you're an angel. That's why you're our little angel.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we've probably been on long enough.
Well, also happy 2024 and thank you, Finn.
Finn.
Thank you, Finn
Hi.
and
My beautiful, lovely niece,
Candy for joining us.
favorite uncle. I'm her only uncle. So, you know, the bar sit really low.
Yeah.
But and I also am her only uncle with a podcast, which she's gonna watch religiously.
Oh, did I yeah, I got some stories about that. It's been an interesting week in the Michael household here, but
Oh, please do. Oh, wait. This is a little, hopefully Des will listen to this episode. So when you got your card from her, did it have your name as Michael Wilkes Booth?
so here's the thing. I have to go look because the envelope and what she sent me is down in my office, which is in the quarantine zone. I haven't been able to get down there for 2 days. So I don't know. It's sitting on my desk. I can't get down there.
She goes, "What's Michael's last name?" And I was like,
I will check. No, I'll send you a picture of it. It's
like Wilkes Booth.
once they let me back in there.
And she is a very bright woman, but I'll bet I got that one to slip by her.
I'll see. I'll let you know. I
You
don't know.
got it.
Why is there quarantine in your house?
Oh, not a quarantine. It's their I'm having the 40 feet of sewer line replaced. So
Oh,
but he sent
fun.
me pictures of it, and it looks like the pictures from underneath John Wayne Gacy's house where they found all the
Oh
bodies.
no.
so the whole family room, I have a pile of dirt about 10 foot by 14 foot by about 6 feet high in the middle of the family room, and then the laundry room is completely jacked up, and the bathroom downstairs, and the entire front lawn is
Wow.
taller than me, dirt pile with a trench that goes down about 15 feet. And it's pouring down rain
You
tonight.
don't know Michael, he is 4'7", so it's not really that big of a
4 foot. So anyway, it's a whole more than half the house is all plasticed off. Like I can't even go in
Wow.
there.
It's like Outbreak or that scene at the end of E.T.
Well, that's the thing. So I'm doing the podcast from the dining room this evening, not the.
Okay.
I thought you were
Anyone
doing
can
it from
tell.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can turn off the back here. No, I'm not even going to do that. So
Yeah.
listen, let's say the magic words and
Kimberly, see.
I think we've been on long enough. I think it's about time we wrap things up.
all right.
Like this.
All right. Have a good evening, everybody.